to disturb you. You have received a message.
Testing. Are we live? Can they hear us? If you can hear this, you are the resistance. I repeat, if you can hear this, you are the resistance. This is your host of Talkwave Radio, Timothy Preston, live behind enemy lines of region number 4. Today we're gonna have a quick discussion. I wanted to point out some information that's old to me, but may be new to you. And if that's the case, then you want to pay attention and listen closely. Now, I'm going to read through this. It's late, but I'm going to read through this document that I have. Now, I'm telling you this now. Listen at your own risk, because this is a classified document, but it's unclassified for office or for official use only. That's the only reason why it's unclassified. But it's not unclassified to the public. But because, as I always say, we have people that's on the inside that release information, that finds a way to put it out on the internet, even if it's only for a few hours, so that others can get a hold of it and spread it around. So in all actuality, this document that's for official use only is for all of us that is an American. Because officially, you need to know. Now, I have on my website, talkwave.info. If you go and click on the show notes page, I say this all the time. I don't add a lot of things every day. I'm not one of those people that just sits on the internet and do that. No, I work, I have a life, I have family, I have children. But the information that I put there is relevant, and I can always go back and pinpoint something that's being added. It's something that I'm starting to see in the media that ties to the things that I have on that site. Now I do it all myself, so yeah, it's just thrown there. You can look at it as, this is that closet that you go into where you got some information, you got documents, you got everything, and it's just in this closet in folders. That's what talkwave.info pretty much is. But if you go to the show notes page, you can listen along with Spreaker, because there's a box up top. You can click it and still hear real time and follow along with what I'm going to be reading, because I'm going to stumble and mess up, but I'm about to read just straight what the document has. Better yet, right there under this unclassified document, at the top of it, the second line is actually the link that takes you to the PDF file. So you can't even say Talkwave Radio got this. It's a link. And right there's the seal, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And this is a document put together by Domestic Extremist Lexicon. That's what they're calling it. And this is a reference aid. So this is what everybody's supposed to turn to when they're labeling you. And as we go through this, you're going to hear, and it may not be the first part of it, but you're going to start hearing a lot of labels and a lot of names that you're being called, and what you call other people, and what the media is calling you. See, I said a long time ago, if you go and you really look at these documents and look at what they're doing and how they're putting things and wording things, you're not going to know anybody that would be free from this list. Everybody will fit somewhere on this list. Whether it's something that they say, possibly believe, what they possibly watch. Why do you think the internet and everything is connected and links every bit of your life together, from your phone when you're walking around, where you go location wise, what you're shopping for, what you're taking pictures of, what's in the background? Okay, so I've been telling you guys this for a long time, and it's still sitting there. And you'll see my copy that I just copy paste and put on my website if you don't want to go and click and move around. But if you want to click and go to the actual website where this was found, look or print out the actual PDF, you can go right ahead and do this. This is dated the 26th of March 2009. Okay, when did Obama get into office? Wasn't it around 2008? That January? So by 2009, as we've been hearing through the media, they're pushing more government, bigger government, stronger government, violent government, criminal government. But let's read this right here. Okay. March 26th of March 2009. Prepared by the Strategic Analysis Group and the Extremist and Radicalization Branch, Homeland Environment Threat Analysis Division. Okay, these are people who put this together. All right, and this is for official use only. Homeland Security Reference Age, prepared by the DHS, Office of Intelligence and Analysis, INA, provide baseline information on a variety of homeland security issues. This product is one in a series of reference aids designed to provide operational and intelligence advice and assistance to other elements of DHS, as well as state, local, and regional fusion centers. Think about fusion centers. DHS INA intends this background information to assist federal, state, local, and tribal homeland security and law enforcement officials in conducting analytic activities. Wow. This product provides definitions for key terms and phrases that often appears in Department of Homeland Security analysts that addresses the nature and scope of the threat that domestic non-Islamic extremists poses to the United States. Definitions were derived from a variety of open source materials and unclassified information, then further developed during facilitated workshops with DHS intelligence analysts knowledgeable about domestic non-Islamic extremism in the United States. Now let's back up a little bit in the open source material. Now, they're the first person to tell you, if you find it on WikiLinks or Wikipedia, don't believe it. It's fake. If you're in college, you can't use Wikipedia. If you're in high school, you can't use Wikipedia. If you're in grammar school, you can't use Wikipedia. Medium. If you're in any school, you can't use Wikipedia. If you're at work, they tell you really don't use Wikipedia. But the Department of Homeland Security, they use Wikipedia. You're going to see a few of the things, the information sources will be Wikipedia with the links. Now this is Xing out non-Islamic. Now haven't they been saying Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and Muslim extremists trying to build temples and mosques around the World Trade Centers to celebrate the takedown of America, and we was raising hell about that, and all of this. We was hunting Osama bin Laden, and they're trying to attack us and tear up our planes. That's why we had the TSA. But now This is strictly non-Islamic. We're targeting everybody except the Muslims. And there's been a lot of speculations and conspiracy theories about Obama and his Muslim ties and him being a secret whatever. Okay, and again, unclassified for official use only. Definitions: above ground, a term used to describe extremist groups or individuals who operate overly and portray themselves as law-abiding. Alternative media. Now this is very important. Listen to this alternative media, because who's being labeled alternative media? Fox, CNN, you, me, Alex Jones. Everybody's calling themselves alternative media. A term used, no, in the media is calling each other. Fox is calling CNN alternative. CNN is calling Fox alternative. They're calling, both of them are calling us alternative. Alex Jones called himself alternative. He calls us alternative. Now, the definition for that in their list: a term used to describe various information sources that provide a forum for interpretations of events and issues that differ radically from those presented in mass media products and outlets. So if I'm saying I don't agree with abortion or Obamacare, that makes me a domestic terrorist. If you don't agree with abortion or church and state, then you're a domestic terrorist. If you don't agree with what Fox News is saying because they rally for the Republicans, then you're a domestic terrorist. If you don't go and rally with CNN and Anderson Cooper, then guess what? You're a domestic terrorist. So it's just, we're all domestic terrorists now. And it's amazing how they come up with this list and justify that they're trying to save us. And this is why they're buying 450 million rounds of 40 cal bullets. This is why they're buying another 200 million rounds for AR-15s. Okay, this is why they're paying for explosives. Why everybody's getting drones now. And the thing is we miss this. How do we sit back, try to find a way to scam each other, and miss them laying out the welcome mat of hell on our doorstep? The government works for us. We are the actual government. Now tell me, are you saying that your neighbors, your sons, your brothers, your sisters are domestic terrorists now? Because they don't agree that gays should be married? I'm not saying they don't need to be married. Don't take what's rightfully straight men and women and make it your own. No, do something new for yourself. Come up with something for yourself. But the fact that I may think that now, that makes me a domestic terrorist? Okay, anarchist extremists. This is another one. A movement of groups or individuals who advocate a society devoid of government structure or ownership of individual property. Many embrace some of the radical philosophical components of anti-capitalist, anti-globalist, anti-globalization, communist, socialist, and other movements. Anarchist extremists advocate changing government and society through revolutionary violence. Reading that alone That right there puts Barack Obama in the category of a domestic terrorist. He's the most communist, socialistic president we done had. He's totally for changing government. And he knows there's a revolution coming and he's willing to push it. That's why they're buying so many rounds of ammunition. That's why they're doing military drills. This is why they're training other countries to invade America and occupy America. And some of your grandparents and some of your brothers and sisters, I guess, will fall under this too. Because I guess you think that it's a change that needs to be made. And if this is not exactly what Fox says, then you're a domestic terrorist. Animal rights extremists. A movement of groups or individuals. And it's amazing how it's a movement of groups or individual. So you can be, you're going to be labeled and thrown away behind bars and with the key thrown away without no jury, no trial. Nobody knowing where you're at because they want to label one individual or an entire group. And they make it so vague and so wide that if you just don't agree with something, then you automatically an extremist. But a movement of group, individual who ascribe equal value to all living organisms and seek to end the perceived abuse of suffering of animals. They believe animals are sentient creatures that experience emotional, physical, and mental awareness and deserve many of the same rights as human beings. For example, the right to life and freedom to engage in normal, instinctive animal behavior. These groups have been known to advocate or engage in criminal activities and plot acts of violence and terrorism in an attempt to advance their extremist goals. They have targeted industries, businesses, and government entities that they perceive abuse or exploit animals, including those that use animals for testing, human services, food production, or consumption. Also, animal liberation is another name that they use. So, now you care about animals. Now, all of these so far have you heard. How much of this have you seen in the media? I scour the news daily. I listen to the news and I see none of this. One little bit here, a little bit there. Is that enough to cause and prepare for a full-scale revolutionary war, a civil war amongst our own people? I mean, because we're not going to fight each other. And it's amazing that you train in the military, and the military is basically telling you, hey, we're not going to do this. We're going to do our job right now and train because nobody's getting hurt. We want our check. We got to pay our bills. But we didn't sign on for this. So you're going to go ahead and let France come over here. You're going to let China come over here because China owns so much land in America now that they can come and do whatever they want. And we're going to allow this. But we have a problem with China. We're going to let Russia come over here. But we're fighting Russia. But we're training with Russia to manipulate and occupy our lands. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. All hell will break loose if foreign troops come and set foot on this soil and try to point guns at Americans. That's not me making a threat. That is just me saying, hey, do you really think we're going to be okay with that? We see that people in Iraq is not okay with that. People in Afghanistan is not okay with that. People in Pakistan is not okay with that. People in Libya is not okay with that. People in Syria is not okay with that. People that's in Iran is not okay with that. People in Africa is not okay with that. but we're going to turn around and you're going to think we're going to be okay with that. So then you want to raise holy sand because you going by 450 rounds of bullets. We going by 5 million guns that month. You stockpile, we stockpile, and you wonder why. Every little thing we're being labeled, and it's like all of this warfare mentality that we have had spread out all over the globe. It's returning in on ourselves. It's like this cancer is starting to eat us from the inside. And some will say it's only fair. Look how much hell and drama we've brought to the world. We didn't do this. If you think about it, at least go back to the Bush era. He gave our military away to the UN, so therefore they had to do what they had to do. That's the only pardon that I give in a lot of the hell that's been breaking out recently. See, America is not dictating what our military do. And if they are, then we can easily say, hey, not anymore. I don't see why we have to continue and accept the labeling. I'm on page 2 out of 11 pages. Anti-abortion extremists, a movement of groups or individuals who are vigilantly anti-abortion and advocate violence against providers of abortion-related services, their employees, and their facilities. Some cite various racist and anti-Semitic beliefs to justify their criminal activities. Personally, I'm against abortion. Now, I have heard of a few incidents with protests at abortion clinics. I haven't heard much violence or vandalism. I've heard of some. That was years ago. And I've seen one protest and they tried to make a big deal out of it, and it was just a couple of people holding signs of pictures of the different type of dead babies from the different versions of abortions that they were doing in this Planned Parenthood. Okay. So I don't see what was violent about that. But if you pay attention when you go and look at this, because I'm not going to cover it all today. I'll have a part 2 of this later on this week. But you'll see how even a peaceful protest marks you as a domestic terrorist. Anti-immigration extremists, a movement of groups or individuals who are vehemently opposed to illegal immigration, particularly along the U.S. southwest borders with Mexico, and who have been known to advocate or engage in criminal activities and plot acts of violence and terrorism to advance their extremist goals. They are highly critical of the U.S. government response to the illegal immigration and impose government programs that are designed to extend rights to illegal aliens, such as issuing driver's licenses and national identification cards, and providing in-state tuition, medical benefits, or public education. Now, I go all the way back thinking about Arizona, Fast and Furious. It wasn't any Americans that I was really hearing about that was actually doing a lot of violent things. Now, it was a rancher who was riding his horse on his own property, and some illegal immigrants shot him dead. I remember that. I remember the American government gave the drug cartel firearms, and some of our border patrol ended up dead from that, and thousands of Mexicans ended up dead from that. But I don't really hear of too many ranchers or Texans or Californians or Arizonans raging some kind of underground war against Mexico. I believe we've done the most peacefulest thing that, I mean, Martin Luther King couldn't do anything more peaceful than go on and say, hey, I want to talk to the legal department, our government officials, and let them know we don't want this. And we did. And the local governments are saying we don't want the illegal immigration going on, and it's the federal government that's holding things in place and just giving them more and more and more. I know plenty of people who cannot go to the food stamp place and get food stamps, get medical, can't get dental or nothing. But if you pull up and just go in and just look, it's packed full of Mexicans. I'm seeing big old trucks, rims bigger than my car, and music just banging Mexican music, and the dude looked like he got big money, dropping off the woman and the kids, and they dressing down so they don't look all like uppity, and go and collect many benefits. You go to the doctor's office now, they're packed with Mexicans. And they come here and they have children thinking it's going to keep them in, because you can't get rid of the parent because we have to take care of the children. And then you put us in this situation, and then you wonder why we're getting upset. We're not upset at the immigrants. We're upset with the government officials. We're upset with the laws. It's okay for them to break the main law coming into this country illegally. They start off illegal and wrong, bring their family into this wrong, and then we give them the okay. So why are you locking up Billy Bob for smoking weed? Why are you locking up such and such for selling alcohol? Why are you locking up such and such for doing anything? Everybody should get a free pass. If we got 30 million illegal immigrants living in America, then that's 30 million people should get free passes. At least one major free pass. But then you won't do that. No, you railroad me. My dog run outside and get loose. Oh, that's a $150 fine. It's amazing how things go. And then we're labeled the problem because we see and speak out. This whole list is against people speaking out. Now they're dealing with racism and the skinheads and the Black Panthers. Yeah, they need to be dealt with. Do I think they need to be dealt with illegally with NDAA and all of it? No. You can voice and speak and feel this however you want to feel. Don't attack me. Don't hurt my family. Don't threaten my family. Don't come around me. You don't even have to speak. You don't have to come to no holidays. You ain't got to come to no barbecues. You ain't even got to go to the same grocery store I go to. That don't give the government rights to label them, grab them, cart them away, and throw them in some prison. Who are they protecting them from? All you're doing is making a bigger criminal. America has the biggest prison population, but yet we down China, we down Japan, we down all of these individuals who's running around doing something that's supposedly crazy. What's up, Angel Diaz? I got a minute and 30 seconds, so I have to plug this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go and look on my wall, I posted on Spreaker. I got a new talk show. I got a new radio site that I'm streaming. I had it before, but we just changed the servers, and I linked everything to go different places so it goes smoothly. If you want your stuff up there, you have to let me know. I'm not just going around downloading people's stuff. People been doing that, streaming my shows on a bunch of stuff and not saying nothing to me. But I'm more than willing to work with everybody and put everything on. I want this to be the freedom place. I want this to be a place for liberty, justice, the American way. So you can have your stuff put up there. With 46 seconds, I want to say, be blessed, be free. I'm going to touch on this with a part 2. Because, like I said, I was on page 3 of 11. So there's a lot more that I'm going to share with you guys. But you can go to talkwave.info, the show notes page, and see it. And you can read it. The link is there. You get it, pass it around, let everybody know. Thank you guys for joining me. This is your host, Timothy Preston. And you was tuning in live at Talk Wave Radio.